Hi, my name is Mike Sutton from ROI Training, and in this What's New video, we're going to demonstrate how we can use S3 notifications to kick off Eventbridge. Now, this was a feature they've added back in late November, so we'll walk through how we can use the two together. Okay, in this example, we're going to see how Eventbridge and S3 can work together. We're going to set up S3 to send an event notification to Eventbridge to do something. Now, what we're going to have Eventbridge do is take this demo VM that I created earlier, and we're going to have Eventbridge turn this off. So whenever I load an object into the bucket, it's going to have Eventbridge turn the virtual machine off. We're going to need the instance ID to set this up, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Once I have that in place, we can see we have our VM running. It's ready to go. Now, we're going to use an S3 bucket I have created called roidemos.net. Now, in order for us to be able to set up Eventbridge to work with these notifications, I have to configure the bucket to send the notifications. So I'll go to Properties, and if I scroll down, and I'm going to get to the Notifications section of the configuration, you're going to see there's Event Notifications, and then there's Amazon Eventbridge. Now, all I need to do here is turn this feature on. So if I go to the Edit button, I'll see right now it's set to off. So I'll go ahead and turn it to on, and that's going to allow me to send these notifications to Eventbridge. So I turn it on, save changes. It'll take a moment, and then we're ready to go. So I have my virtual machine set up and running. I have my configuration done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and configure the rule for Eventbridge. So I can either do this as search on the top part of the menu. I can go to the AWS services I already used. I could also use a shortcut. Now over to the left, you're going to see all of the different areas that I can configure, including what we call our event bus. Now an event bus is really just a way for us to set access to resources that are created within the event. So if I create this event bus, I give it a name, and I create a resource-based policy that will allow services and users to access my event and the things it modifies. So we're just going to use our default event in this case. That should be good enough. But I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to go ahead and create my event rule. So when we create the rule, this is going to basically look for a specific event and do what I configure. So I'm going to give my event a name. So I'm going to call it VM stop, because all I'm going to do here when we send the S3 notification is stop a VM. We'll also give it a description that makes sense, so I'll fill that out as well. And once I have that configured, the next decision I need to make is a pattern. Do I want to set this event to kick off based on something happening? For example, our S3 notification. Or is this an event I want to schedule? And I can set this with a scheduler or cron. In our case, we're going to do event. And for the matching pattern, it can either be a predefined pattern by service, or we can set a custom pattern to look for. Now, in our purpose, we're going to select predefined pattern by service, and we can either select all events, AWS events, or events set up by service partners. And when I set this up, I can select the particular service I want to use. It could have been all of them. We see a wide list here, but what I'm going to look for in this case is the simple storage service, or S3. So I'll select that. And then I can configure what type of event. Is it going to be all events? Is it going to be a S3 event notification? Is it going to be an API call to CloudTrail, or a bucket level API call to CloudTrail? And when I select an option, you're going to see the event pattern get filled out in the JSON area. We can copy these, modify these for our needs. We see if I select a different pattern, all events, it changes that event pattern in JSON. So we'll leave all events, And the next thing I'm going to do is just use the default event bus, right? In our case, that just works. We'll leave it at that. So we then have to go ahead and select our target. What is really the target we want to work on when this event kicks off? Now, when I select this pull-down screen, you're going to notice there are a lot of different options here. So there's really a wide variety of things we can do with this. Now, what we're going to do in our example is I'm just going to use the stop instances API call to stop a virtual machine. And I'm going to fill in the instance ID here. That's what I copied earlier. And then we can set up Eventbridge to have permissions to do this. So we can either create a new role for this. I can use an existing role. In our example, we'll use the role that gets created, right? So that is a way for us to configure that. Tags are optional, key value pairs we can add. But then when I hit create, it's going to create this event. So we have the rules set up, it's enabled, it's a standard type, and we see our description. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and test this to see if it works. So I'm going to go back to S3. I'm going to go back to my bucket that we set up earlier, and I'm going to upload a file to this bucket. Now when I do that, I'm going to then go ahead and add a file. So I add a file, I'll just select any file I have on my laptop, and I'll select open. Now when I do this and I hit the upload button, it's going to upload that file into my bucket, and we can see that it was successful. We see the name of the file, what type it was, the size, and the status. It was a successful upload. Now, based on that, I should now be able to look at my virtual machine, and I should notice that demo VM is now in the process of stopping, because once I put the file in the bucket, that sent the event notification to Eventbridge, and Eventbridge did what I wanted to do based on how it was configured. And we can see now the status of the virtual machine is stopped. Now in this example, I just stopped a virtual machine, but I could have done a wide variety of things with this, from using SQS to Lambda to whatever else. So in this demo, what we did was we showed a new feature of S3 where we're able to add event notifications to kick off Eventbridge.